But what was the reason why you get so negative comments on your wall? What was the reason people...
Well, my wife said something somewhat controversial about gun violence in America, which I didn't think was that controversial, and it was very true what she said. But it's a very contested political issue in America regarding the rights to own a gun, the rights of the government to limit who can own a gun. And we're one of the most armed countries in the world, and we also have one of the most ridiculous amounts of, deaths by gun and incidences of gun violence in the world too. And so knowing that that's an issue, my wife tweeted something about it that offended people who believe that rights to guns should be unfettered.
Yeah, I thought that she was totally misunderstood as well, because...
Yeah, I think people thought she was making light of what happened in Ottawa, in Canada. Yeah. What she was saying is she wishes it was bigger news in America when we had shootings, but it's so frequent in America that it's not big news in America.
It's like every Wednesday, something like that.
Exactly.
I think she totally was misunderstood.
Yeah, and people thought she was being flippant about what was happening in Ottawa, which she wasn't. And anyone who knows her or even just reads it with any sense of critical thinking would have understood that.
Yeah, and this is an issue you really think about too. And
yeah, this is an issue both of us care about, and it's an issue that most Americans care about because we keep seeing these mass shootings, people shooting up schools.
It's crazy.
It happens way too often, and that's what she was talking about in her message.
And you wrote a blog post for the Huffington Post. I read it, and there you talk about the Proposition 47 and want people to vote a yes. Can you quickly explain what that is and why you want people to vote yes? Well, not
only do we have a problem with gun violence in America, but on the other end, we also have a problem with locking up too many people in America. We're the most incarcerated country in the world, and the majority of the people that are locked up for nonviolent crimes, often related to drug use or sometimes drug sales, but many of them are in jail for nonviolent crimes. And because of this, we're spending a lot of money to lock up people. We're devastating entire communities, and we're not investing our money in things that would actually build up the communities, like schools and treatment for people with drug problems and things like that. So we want to take that money that's currently focused on punishment and shift it to education and investment in the future.
That makes absolutely sense. I don't know any idea why people shouldn't do that. Right?
Yeah, and I think people will vote for it. I think a lot of people agree with what we're saying, and I think it has a good chance of passing.
What you also mentioned in that post is that 7 times more African Americans are in jail than, for example, white people.
Yeah, it's because
why is that?
The way drug laws are enforced is very discretionary. So it's left up to police discretion. It's left up to prosecutors' discretion. And whenever there's discretion, you leave room for racism and classism. And so they usually target certain neighborhoods, even though white kids actually use marijuana more than black kids. They use cocaine more than black kids. The ones that get locked up for it are the black kids. It's because the police are targeting neighborhoods where black kids live. And so when they're enforcing these drug laws, the brunt of it, of the enforcement, is borne by black and brown communities.
So there's still racism around in a different way than it was years before.
In some ways it's the same, but it's a different expression.
Exactly.
But always we've had significant issues with law enforcement and black and brown people in America because, like I said, the law, even though it's written as, this is the law and this is how you enforce it, a lot of how it's enforced is based on someone's discretion, whether they choose to go after certain people. And they've chosen to go after black and brown people and going after poor communities more than they've chosen to go after white people. And so even though we commit the same amount of crime when it comes to drugs, or less actually, when it comes to drugs, we get locked up more because of what we look like and what neighborhood we live in.
I mean, that's something which is absolutely not acceptable. And I'm really glad that artists like you step up and, speak their minds.
I think it's a critical issue when it comes to civil rights in America and leveling the playing field for all races in America.
Thank you very much that you speak your mind, and even a bigger thank you for being the great artist you are and taking the time to speak with us. That's already the end of the interview, and I'm really looking forward to your concert tonight at
Thank you.
Stadion.
Thank you very much.